For this process, you'll need an M3 Allen wrench, you'll need a T6 Torx driver, a tweezers, as well as your Airstrike Ag SIM card. The first thing we'll need to do on our drone is remove the hood. There are 3 M3 Allen screws on this hood, 1 on either side, as well as a third one in the back. We'll start by removing the side. It's important to use hand tools on this as you're threading into sensitive threads and you don't want to strip them. After the screws are removed, remove your hood. Next, we're going to locate the SIM card door on the front of the flight controller. There are 2 T6 Torx screws on there that we will use our hand driver to remove. And we're going to place all of our hardware in a container where it can't get knocked over or lost. Once those 2 Torx screws are removed, simply take your T6 driver, place it gently in one of the holes, and pry the cover off. Place the cover in your container so it doesn't get lost. Next, we'll locate our SIM card and carefully use our tweezers to press in gently until we hear a click and watch the SIM card slide out slightly. We'll notice as we remove the SIM card that the silver side is up and there is a slight chamfer on the right side of the card. Next, we'll remove our provided SIM card from its packaging. Simply pop it out of the inside of the card holder. Next, use your tweezers to install the SIM card in your flight controller, taking note that the silver side will be up and the slight chamfer will be on the right side as it goes in. When we look at the flight controller, we can see a small gap above this motherboard right here. It's very important we do not insert the SIM card into there, and rather insert it into this lower rectangular section. Improperly inserting the SIM card can actually push it inside your flight controller, causing it to rattle around inside and require disassembly in order to recover the SIM card. Taking careful note of the orientation of the SIM card, carefully insert it into the SIM card slot. Once the SIM card is in the slot, carefully use the tweezers to lock it into place. Gently push into the flight controller with very little force until you hear a click. Once the SIM card is properly installed, we're going to replace the door on the front of the SIM card holder and install the T6 Torx screws. Taking care to only tighten them gently to hand tight. It is important to use hand tools only on this job. Next, we're going to reinstall the hood on the drone. Simply place it back in its original location. And using a hand tool, your M3 Allen wrench driver, install the screws on the side and the back of the hood. You have now properly installed your Airstrike Ag SIM card in your XAG P150 or P150 Max. For this job, we're going to need a T6 Torx driver, a small tweezers, your Airstrike Ag provided SIM card, as well as your XRTK7. First, we'll take our T6 driver and remove the 2 screws holding on the SIM card door. Place these 2 screws in an area where you won't lose them. With those 2 screws removed, take the tip of your T6 driver and carefully pry on the door of the RTK7. Remove the SIM card door and place it next to your screws. Next, we'll see a small area inside the same size as your SIM card where the SIM card will be inserted. It's also important to note there is adequate space around where the SIM card gets installed that you can lose it inside the XRTK7, which will require disassembly in order to get the SIM card out. Next, we'll take our Airstrike Ag provided SIM card and remove it from its packaging. On your XRTK7, it's important to install your SIM card with the silver side facing up and the small chamfer on the top right of the SIM card as it goes in. We can see this as a diagram right here on the side of the XRTK7. Next, we'll take our tweezers and hold the SIM card carefully above the slot, making sure not to slide it into the open space around the SIM card receiver. Now that the SIM card is loosely installed in your XRTK7, we're going to flip the tweezers around and use the backside to seat it fully in place. It's important to gently push on the SIM card and not force it. If it's not going in straight, it'll cause damage if you try to force it. Press gently until you hear a slight click. Now that the SIM card is fully installed and seated properly, we replace the SIM card door, press it back into place, and use a hand tool, our T6 Torx driver, to install the 2 screws that hold on the door. For this job, we'll need a small tweezers, an Airstrike Ag provided SIM card, as well as your SRCH5 controller. The first thing we'll need to do is locate and open the SIM card door on the bottom of the controller. We can see right in the center, next to your charge port and your data port, there will be a small door that you can pry open. You'll notice that when you do open it, you'll see a small SIM card slot, as well as a diagram of how the SIM card needs to be inserted. The next thing we'll do is remove our Airstrike Ag SIM card from its packaging, and then we'll use the tweezers to hold the SIM card in the orientation that matches the diagram on the bottom of the controller. In this case, you'll want your silver or gold side down, and your small chamfer on the corner in the top left as you insert the SIM card. Simply hold the door to the side and slide the SIM card directly into the slot, taking note not to insert it around the outside of the slot where it can get lost inside the controller. Once the SIM card is loosely installed, we'll flip our tweezers around and gently press it in until we are fully seated. Take note, on your controller, you will not hear the typical click that you would when inserting a SIM card into other devices. You'll know it's fully inserted when it sits flush with the plastic around the outside. Next, we'll close our protective silicone SIM card door and press it tight so it's fully sealed. Now that we have our SIM card properly installed in the drone, as well as created an account on airstrikeag.com and registered that drone's SIM card to our account on the website, we can go ahead and turn on the access point name in the controller for the drone so that the drone knows how to receive data from that SIM card. The first thing we'll need to do is ensure that our drone is powered on as well as our controller. Once everything's loaded up and powered on, we can tap on our farmer icon in the top right corner of the screen, and then we'll go ahead and we'll tap on Device near the center of the screen. We can see that our P150 Max is turned on and connected. We'll tap on that, and that will bring us into our device details page. Next, we're going to tap on our communication settings on the left sidebar of the device details screen. We can see under our communication system that our cellular network is not yet connected. We're going to go ahead and tap on SIM card settings down there near the bottom of the screen. That will bring us into our SIM card settings page, and it will automatically populate given all the information that the drone is able to pull off of the SIM card. But we still need to configure the access point name, or the APN. So we're going to go ahead and tap on that right there near the center of your screen. And then in this APN address, we need to make sure that it says that exact information, dac.wbdata. We'll type that in. We don't need to put in a username or a password. That is fully optional and it's not necessary for setup. The next thing we'll do once we have that typed in is we'll tap on Done, and then we'll back out of this page one more time near that arrow in the top left corner, and we should be all set and configured. And once we get a data plan set on that SIM card, we should be actively able to pull data from the SIM card on the drone's flight controller.